round 10 here in Singapore. I'm your host, J-Man, and welcome back to the commentary box, Lindsay. Welcome back.
Yeah, g'day. G'day.
Lovely to have you here on this beautiful, wet Sunday afternoon, and it is absolutely pelting down in Singapore, so it's going to be a very interesting qualifying here. Most of the drivers on the wet tyres, and my brightness is absolutely incredible. I don't know what's going on here, but that's all right. We'll work through it.
The seems fine on my end. It's from your TV.
Yeah, it might be actually. But yeah, so drivers starting to roll out onto the track here. It's going to be very testing conditions here in Singapore. We know it does rain quite frequently, but it's a straight track, so it's very easy to.
I must say, quite sadly though, of course we get rain when it's the new layout. The old
Yeah.
layout would be so good for the rain.
Yeah, well, we will see some dry action later on in the race. It'll be interesting to see what the drivers have decided to do with their setups, because a fair chunk of the race is going to be wet. However, the end of the race is going to be dry, and that could be the most important part of the race. So maybe drivers will fit some dry setups, looking for a big advantage later on.
You want to balance, just go with an intermediate setup, not a full wet or a full dry. Just
Yeah, for
find
sure.
find the sweet spot, because you don't want to be crashing in the rain and then ruining your whole race just because you decided to run a setup that was too low downforce.
Yeah. So we'll have a look through our championship standings now as we watch. Kizzy is going to be the first driver to go around the circuit here. On, as you mentioned, this new layout. We've got Sparks as our current championship leader. Still, he's been in the lead for a couple of weeks now, and he leads Hudman by 20 points in the championship. Kizzy, this man on screen right now, in third on 89 points, so he's 31 points off the lead, and then followed by Zonix, Phoenix, McNuggies, Kia, DXmond, Milan, and Mickey, who are all a little bit further back. So Hudman, the only driver in range of knocking Sparks off his lead today.
Yeah, so Hudman would need to win and Sparks would need to get no more than 2 points.
Yeah, so we know Hudman, he's won 3 races, the most of any driver in Division 2 this season. Who knows where he might be in the championship had he been here the whole time. He joined a few races late this season, but we're watching Kizzy here struggling a bit in these wet conditions.
Yeah, they are quite treacherous. Obviously, it will get drier as the session goes on, and the track will obviously evolve, but these first runs are definitely the ones that you need to put together, just in case people can't put it together later on down the session. These banker laps in the wet are all more important than in the dry.
It'd be interesting to see how Call Me Kegs out on track on the Inters at the moment. A bit of a gamble there, so we'll see what happens with him. But Kizzy not using any of his ERS, so either he's doing that intentionally to try and make the corners a bit easier, or he's on another warm-up lap here. I'm not 100% sure.
I think he's just making the traction zones easier, but if I was Kizzy, I'd be turning the battery back on down the straight, and then as I come into the traction zone, turn it off just to maximise the top speed.
Yeah, so I think Kizzy might be planning on doing a couple laps here. That's his first one, a 150.6. The times will start to ramp up as I believe the rain will reduce in intensity as the qualifying goes on here. Let's have a look at Call Me Keg on the intermediate tyres. He's on a lap currently. And we'll just see how he's going here. He looks to be struggling for grip. As you can see, the rain is coming down hard. Milan's just knocked 10th off Kizzy's time. Sparks comes in a couple tenths behind. So these banker laps will be important, but it's going to be extremely important that you're out on the track as late as possible in this qualifying to get that, well, improve with the as the track develops. DXman goes fastest
Oh,
than
it
me,
was
so
DXman. Wowee. Okay, that was fast.
nice lap time from him.
So, who would you say in these conditions will thrive the most? Okay, man.
Well, I think was it Milan last year who took a pole on the wet? Someone took a surprise pole in Japan, I think, last year when it was raining
I think,
quite heavily.
yeah, I think it was Milan.
So yeah, he could be quite a good driver in the wet. Obviously, we've got there's 10 drivers that are all capable of winning races. We sort of spoke about this last week. I think or anyone could bob up and surprise us. I think Zonic's been in really good form recently. He's sort of creeping up on that championship battle as well, but don't count out Sparks. He's been very good this season. So out of everyone, I think Sparks is the most likely, but I think anything can happen in this qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, especially around Singapore, anything is possible. I think if you look even in real life back to say 2017, in very similar conditions to now, just going into turn one in the wet can be so incredibly treacherous.
Yeah.
So that could also create some excitement in the race. But here in qualifying, I think just keeping the car under control basically is the goal, and you should be somewhere up the order. And we also did talk about setup earlier, but you've also got to think Singapore is around 50-45 wing anyway.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be much of a
Well,
difference from a
Kia.
wet to a dry.
And look how much the rain has reduced here already in qualifying. Kia showing the improvement of the track here as he's taken 2 seconds off DXman's time. DXman's just improved his time by about a second as well. Not quite enough to match Kia. And Kia, someone we haven't really talked about so far, he could definitely be a threat for the pole position as well.
Yeah, obviously he did have a couple of rounds off and also just a bit of a lack of form when he did come back in Spa. But I think he's back, and he's back to fight for his championship. But we'll have to see how that can go, because Sparks and Hudman, they have a pretty solid gap over the rest, so it'll be
In the
interesting. The
meantime,
comeback would be tricky.
Zonix goes second fastest in the Red Bull, just 3/10 off Kia's time. So that shows Zonix does have some pace around here as well. Phoenix set a purple middle sector. He's looking pretty good so far, crossing the line, and it's going to be P4 with a 149.2. There's a big gap between the top two, third and fourth, and the rest of the field here.
Yeah. And, Phoenix just had a massive moment as he cut off from him. I think another thing to talk about, the grid may not look like this after this race.
Yep,
Because
for sure.
the transfer window does open up, and I think we'll see a few moves. I don't know what teams we can expect them around. I think Williams will probably try
Alpha
go for a new
3.
pairing. Ooh, not ideal for you, J-Man. And
Nope.
I think Alpine will definitely be looking for a new lineup.
Yeah, who do they have? PS Bomber and Fire Strike at the moment. So they've shown a bit, but just they don't have quite the pace that some of the front runners do at the moment. So obviously, I wish the best for both of them. Hopefully, they both have seats after the transfer window. But I can understand why Alpine would be looking for a change. As for the teams towards the top of the grid, obviously, I don't see Red Bull or Ferrari making any changes. I'm not sure about your team, Lindsay, Alfa Romeo, whether they're going to
I
make an
tried.
adjustment or not.
I tried, but as you said, Red Bull was not budging.
Yeah, so Zonix is just gone comfortably fastest, so he's having a great little qualifying here so far. But it's only the last map's going to matter. Last lap's going to matter for the drivers here because it's about to be intermediate conditions, and those are where the fastest laps are going to come. But we're watching McNuggies here to see what he can do. It's looked pretty tidy so far as he brings it towards the line, crossing now 148.2, which puts him in third place.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely on here, but how are people going to adapt to the inters? As we can see with Mickey here, he's on inters, so we can see how he goes. I do think it is intermediate time. Will some of people just not going out on the wets just to go straight
Oh,
to
he's
the
at the wall.
inters? Oh, Mickey. Ooh.
Yeah, I think Hudman's just come out for the first time. He's on wets at this stage, but yeah, as you can see, Mickey hitting the wall there might. It's not going to be easy for the Inters runners, but there is pace out there for them to use. As there's another retirement, Lolai scored. Looks like that's on the pit straight. Oh no, just before the pit straight, last turn. So unfortunate for him there. But yeah, Mickey's gonna have to come back in and get a new wing because the downforce is absolutely crucial here in Singapore, especially in the wet.
So another driver we haven't talked about, and you're on board with him right now, Frosty. He's had some good form, but also some poor form at the same time over the course of this season. But I think the last couple of races he hasn't done too badly. So what are your thoughts on Frosty right now?
Yeah, Frosty just sitting outside that top 10 in the championship. He hasn't really put together an incredible result. No podiums yet this season for him, but he's definitely capable of putting together a performance like that. So I'm hoping we can see a little bit more from him. His team principal Noah, when he comes and races in Div 2, is always fantastic as well. So Haas have a pretty strong driver lineup there, but hopefully Frosty, he does have the ability, so we'll just
Do
can
we
make
think
a few
that
mistakes at
Noah
times.
will?
Yeah, what was that, sorry?
Yeah, there was a massive lag. Do you think Noah will try grab a seat in his own team during the transfer window, just swap himself in?
Yeah, I think if he's available, he'll definitely consider it. I think if he decides to partner Frosty, that'd be a really good combination there. So I'd love to see him. He's a very enjoyable driver to watch as well. So I think that would be great for Division 2 to have him back in. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Noah is a bit of a. He's always created a little bit of excitement because some races he has all the pace and he creates some exciting racing with some great racecraft, I must add, that he has. And then there are other races where he's just lingering in that midfield, but he can sometimes just make things work, and it's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah, so a couple of drivers out on the track. We're going to focus on the Inters runners here to see if they can knock off Zonix's current time, which is a 1:47.1. Kizzy is the closest on track to starting his lap here, so we're going to follow him. Lindsay, why don't you take us through his lap here?
Alrighty, so Kizzy here in the wet conditions in the McLaren. How will he fare? First off, topping out, I think that's a 284, and down to fourth gear, and now get it rotated for the second part of the turn 1 and 2 complex. And now just easy on the throttle now in the wet. You don't want to be aquaplaning or getting too much wheel spin. It could very much end you in the wall. As now just holding it tight with the downforce, misses the apex a little bit as he runs flat out all the way down the straight. He won't quite hit 8th gear, I don't think. No, he doesn't, as now he slams down the gears, down to 3rd, short shift to 4th, for some traction, a little bit of a wobble there off the end of the curb, as through this slow hairpin section, super easy to understeer into a wall at Singapore in these wet conditions. I've done it myself, so that's speaking from experience, as now just sailing through and just trusting the air. Even in these wet conditions, you need to have trust in your car, and it looks like that is what Kizzy has right now, as he understeered nearly ends up in a wall there, but that's what Singapore's all about, pushing the limits here. As you head into the hairpin, you've got to get a good exit. He ran deep, though. And will he be able to hold it together? Yes, he can. As I've had a massive screen freeze.
Kia's gone fastest. In the meantime, Kia's gone nearly a second faster than Zonix on the wet tyres. So other wet tyres may be still just as good as the Inters. We're going to find out from Kizzy's lap here as he makes his way towards the end. Phoenix now gone faster. The track improvement is unbelievable here. Phoenix knocks off Kia's lap by about 5/10. So the Ferrari looking very good here so far. What about Kizzy? Rounding the final quarter. Can he put his car on provisional pole? Not quite third fastest, just behind Kia's lap. 3 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. In the meantime, Churchy's gone 5th. Very impressive from him.
Yeah, so I'm just restarting your share screen here, and Oh no,
It's alright.
your share screen broke.
Sparks goes 5/10 faster than Phoenix. Wow. So really some good times being pumped in, and there's Zonix, who's on a lap at the moment, we're going to watch, who's 2 seconds down on pole position, but he is in 5th. So we'll see what kind of response he can come over. Milan's gone 7/10 faster. This is incredible, the difference here. Zonix is up 8/10 through the first sector. Milan is currently on provisional pole by about 7.5 tenths on Sparks. This is why you want to be out here as late as you possibly can be, because this improvement is unbelievable, and if you get caught out, then you could be stuck in a way lower position than you want to be. So watching Zonix now making his way through the middle sector. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him. Hopefully he can manoeuvre his way through that, as he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment. He's getting so close to the walls there. Now to the hairpin. Runs a little bit deep, but solid exit from him. We're going to see what the split time is here. It's going to be very close. Zonix, a contender for pole position here. He's up 2.2 seconds and a tenth on his current time. He needs 2.6 to beat Milan here. It's going to be very close to the final sector. I reckon he might be able to knock him off here, as long as traffic doesn't get in his way. Brakes nice and early, gets the car turned in, and now towards the final corner, just needs to hold it together. And as Call Me Keg retires, Zonix crossing the line now. Is it going to be pole? Yes, it is. 3/10 up on Milan. That's a fantastic lap by Zonix. And can anyone match it?
I think Milan's going again, so is Kizzy though, so a lot of drivers going again. Milan doing a recharge lap though, and this is crunch time now. He's going to go for his final flying lap soon. McNuggies has invalidated, Sparks has invalidated. Kizzy though, 8 tenths up. No, he's 2 tenths down.
Ooh, and he's
the
got off
Delta
the
just
track
hadn't updated
there.
yet.
He's invalidated.
So he's invalidated.
Phoenix
so
too.
Milan,
A lot of drivers invalidating here.
Yep, so I think we go to Milan as he's now began his flying lap, his final one. Can he put it together and topple Zonix off of his P1 crown right now as he heads through turn 2? He gets a little bit wide there, back on the power nice though, as he goes up the gears. You've really got to hook it up. The intermediate tyres don't wear too much, and they normally get better until they hit about 10%. So can he find that final 3/10 or 4/10 that he needs to get pole here? He's 4/10 up in his final lap. He was probably one of the last people to cross the line, and that's exactly what you need here in these treacherous conditions, as the track is constantly improving. It's a massive wobble there, but holds it in a straight line. All he has to do is just keep the car going straight, and he should have a decent qualifying result here. Can he just get it through as he through sector 2? He's looking quite strong. And now everybody's run wide there. Milan runs it perfectly, though. And this has been a lap to witness as he heads into the hairpin. He gets to the apex. One of the only drivers I've seen to get to the apex, as now on the throttle.
Zonix improves again.
Zonix with a 42.8, but Milan is also 1.1 seconds up. So this is going to come down to what he can do in the final sector now. This new layout, you cut across back to the left. How can he manage it in these wet conditions? High top speed hitting 7th gear, and he's now going to get down the gear, and he's just got to hook up these final 3 corners just so he can try get to the checkered flag. Sparks goes P2. Can Milan steal the pole off Zonix? Can he split the Red Bull 1-2? He might do it. He goes P1.
That is unbelievable from Milan. Great lap. That was just absolutely beautifully done. And he goes only just ahead of Zonix. Zonix had a great qualifying, but Milan just pips him at the end of the day. Sparks P3. Zonix out-qualifies him on this occasion. And Hudman, DXman 4th. Hudman came 5th. He set his first lap right at the end there, so just in the nick of time. But Kia had a great qualifying at the start, but just fell off at the end. I think he ended up about P9 or 10. P14, sorry.
I am very happy. Oh, what a lap that was from Milan. He sets pole with a 42.7, only 28 thousandths faster than Zonix, and that was close, and I think we're going to see much more of that come the race. Then, so you have the Red Bulls P2 and P3. They thought they had a 1-2 in Milan, grabbed it away at the last second, and then you have Dexman, pretty good qualifying in P4, and then Hudman, followed by Frosty in P6, decent result for him, and then Mickey, P7, dead heat, P8, not bad, P9 for Nuggies, P10 for Spicy, 11 for Kizzy, PS1 with P12, Phoenix P13, Kia, P14, just didn't go out on the inters.
Yes. Yeah, he was looking really good. He set about 2 or 3 fastest laps throughout that session. But as I said, it's the most important time to be out there is right at the end, and Milan definitely took advantage of that. But it's going to be interesting to see the pace of the Red Bulls here. Does Zonix have the edge on Sparks this weekend?
Yeah, I think he does, but at least in these wet conditions. But it's also so close that it's going to come down to how they can manage with the race fuel.
Yeah, so we're going to find out at the end of 31 laps, I believe, or something along those lines. But it's going to be Milan from pole position today, and then the Red Bulls, and then DXman. So, and then the other Ferrari Phoenix struggled in qualifying, as well as the other Alfa Romeo and Kia. So they've got a bit of work to do. So a few teams quite split across the field.
Yeah, I think it's all just going to be about recovery in the race for these
Yep.
teams that didn't quite get it right in qualifying.
Here we
So
go.
we're going to come to 5 red lights.
And we are underway. Drive through for Milan. Oh, he's jump started. Frosty as well has come up in a second, and it's been a very glitch start here, it looks like. But as Frosty's not in the race, and Zonix makes his way through, but it's Milan lead. Besides the glitchy start here, unfortunately Milan has a drive through, but they look to have all gotten through okay. As Hudman's down 14 places, and he's now battling with I think a few drivers lagged out here.
Yeah, I think a few drivers lagged out, and I honestly don't think Milan jumped the start on my end. Well, obviously we're on the same screen, but the lights had gone out, so yeah, I'm not sure about that one. But he's got
Yeah.
work to do then.
Deadheat's had
The
an
Red
issue
Bulls.
here. He's absolutely falling down the order. Yep, he's stuck there, and that's a virtual safety car. Lolo scored has a penalty for a collision with Hudman. So it's been a couple poor starts here already. Milan got a drive through, I think, a couple weeks ago as well. So it's been terrible luck for him. But this is going to mean the Red Bulls will take the lead here.
I got a couple of. So Hudson got an error, and Spicy was the reason that Dead Heat fell down the field.
Oh, there you go.
So that is definitely interesting.
So the top 4 holding their positions. McNuggies, he's been great at starts all season. He's up 4 places into 5th. Kizzy up 5 places as well. And Frosty down 1, unfortunately not in the race at this stage. Might just chuck him a quick invite before we get going again.
Yes. So obviously it's only a virtual safety car, and I think, yeah, we're going to get underway again
Spicy's
shortly
got a
as we
drive
are.
through.
Yeah, we are back underway now, and that leaves a couple of drivers on the grid with drive-throughs, I think.
Yeah,
So Zonix sets the fast lap of the race. Milan only has 1.1 to Zonix, but has to serve that drive-through soon. So Zonix will want to stay ahead of his teammate, but MX will just be praying that Zonix and Sparks don't fight too hard.
Yeah, and DXman is all over the back of Sparks here, so not a lot of pace on the restart. Mickey, what has happened to him? It's a DNF just after turn 2, it looks like. He's gone off the track now, but that's terrible for the AlphaTauri there. Safety car is out.
It's also terrible for Milan because he can't serve his drive-through under safety car, and that means once safety car comes in, he has to come in at the end of the lap.
Yeah, so it's going to make the restart an interesting beast to handle here, but Zonix is going to take the lead of this race. Call Me Keg up 10 places as well. That's incredible. I'll just check the tyres here. Yep, everyone on the intermediates. So, yeah, great start for him. And as mentioned, McNuggies and Kizzy doing well also.
Yeah, so it's definitely been an interesting start, and I think, well, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting fight between the Red Bulls, but do you think DXman and McNuggies will also be able to stick their noses in?
Yeah, I think DXman probably more likely than McNuggies here. He's just not sure if he quite has the pace with the leaders. He's very good at taking advantage of his opportunities and he's great off the starts. But yeah, unfortunately, Milan and Spicy are gonna have to serve some drive-through penalties here, which is a shame. But we'll see how the Red Bulls go here. Dexmond might be able to put some pressure on a couple of drivers lower down the field. Hudman was all the way down the bottom. He's recovered a few places at least. And then Phoenix and Care could start to make their way through as the race turns to dry.
Yeah, when in the race do you think it'll become dry? You obviously set the weather, so
Yeah, I think it's about a third of the way through the race. So I think around the lap 10 mark, it's going to start to dry up. So too early at the moment to go into the dry tyres, but very soon.
yeah. So it'll definitely be interesting to see who takes the first gamble onto the dries, but obviously I don't think it'll be um it won't be super short from now. I think it'll be they won't pit for the inters for a little bit. I mean the dries.
Yep. So as you can see, the leaderboard, Milan, Zonix, and Sparks, that'll change shortly. But interesting what the implications will be for the championship here. Zonix is looking extremely good so far. So I think potentially could be a Red Bull race win here and potentially close the gap to Sparks, depending on how he goes here. But we know how smart and intelligent Sparks is on the racetrack. So even if he doesn't have the pace, he can sometimes find a way to steal a win.
Yeah, obviously, he's kind of got that I'm a noob sort of mentality. Just keep it clean, and everything ends out all right for him normally.
Yeah, and he's not to mention
Ooh.
he's got some great pace also. So we look a little bit further down the field here. Frosty clearly having some internet issues. So he's down in 7th at this stage. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see Phoenix, Care, and Hudman. That's a very quick trio down there at 11th, 12th, and 13th. So it'll be interesting to see how they make their way through the field. Also out of position, Dead Heat down in 16th, as we mentioned, had a bit of an incident earlier on. So it's going to be very interesting to see how those guys make their way up the field after this restart.
Yeah, and especially in the wet at Singapore, it's going to be so difficult. This is a true testament to how this new layout is going to work for overtaking.
Yeah, and look at the track now. The rain is just spitting. So potentially could be going to dries a little bit earlier than expected. Could we see anyone potentially take a gamble? It's too wet at this stage, but looks like it's about to stop the rain.
Yeah, I think it'll probably stop within the next 4 or 5 laps, and then we could have a very, very interesting 20 or so laps.
Yeah, could be a lot of action in the pits very shortly, but the safety car should be in at the end of this lap, I believe, as we're on lap 4 of 31 at the moment. Singapore, usually the longest race on the calendar, and so we experienced last season here in Singapore where we had a sprint round. I can't believe we had a sprint round in Singapore, but um, that felt like an eternity driving the car. So can't imagine what it'd be like for these guys.
Yeah, this is going to be very long. This is going to be longer than a sprint round
Yeah,
around here at the rate we're going with the amount of safety cars and things I think there'll be, and with the rain. If it can get dry going though soon enough, then maybe it might be a bit quicker than we think. And with the dry transition, this hurts Milan even more because he's gonna have to go in and serve a drive-through and then pit again.
yeah, it's a huge shame for him. But as I'm looking on my screen here, I can't see any raindrops. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if we see one of the drivers towards the back just dive into the pits off the restart here, potentially get slap some dry tyres on and see what happens. But so the safety car will be in this lap, and Milan might have to dive straight in here.
Yeah, pretty much the second they cross the line on that restart at the end of this lap, Milan has to come in. Otherwise, I believe he gets disqualified.
Yeah, I did see that happen. I think it was yesterday in OPSL. I think can't remember who it was got disqualified for not serving their drive-through after a safety car. So hopefully we don't see the same result here. Safety car about to come into the
So,
pits. Will we see anyone dive into the pits for some dry tyres? Milan stays out, takes the restart. And we get underway here. So it looks like he's all good for the moment. And Spicy coming in to serve his drive-through. Look at
DXman looking maybe up the inside.
They're having a go at Sparks potentially, but all the drivers... Oh no, Alpha 3 is out. And not sure what's happened to him. Can't see him on the screen there. Oh, there he is. He's off the track. Yeah, but he's
pressed
out.
the retire button.
Yeah, it looks like it. Didn't look like he retired from an incident of any sort. So that's an interesting one.
Connected at any point?
I'm not sure, but anyway, DXman has been all over the back of Sparks all race along so far, which hasn't been too long of a race, but he's been putting some serious pressure on him, and Zonix and Milan have already gapped Sparks, so maybe he's running a bit of a dry setup this afternoon. But no overtakes at the moment here.
Yeah, so they're just going to have to settle into a rhythm and just wait for the carnage to unfold around them. But for the battle for P10 with those three quick drivers in Phoenix, Kia, and Hudman is raging on. They're all within a tenth or so of each other, so this could be quite interesting. But I think the focus is still up to these front runners and how they can negotiate it. Oh my god, Hudman nearly ran out the back of Kia. And
yeah, it's Sandy holding this trio up a bit here.
Yeah.
So Phoenix is going to make a move around the outside. Sandy breaks late to defend, and now that allows Kia to come through. Kia could get both of them here potentially. He's coming alongside him and tries to go around the outside, turns into the inside. Well done, Kia. Very opportunistic. Is Phoenix going to try and follow him through? He is, but Sandy just hanging on as Milan coming in to serve his drive-through there. And it's still getting quite close. And Zonix setting the fastest lap as well. Nearly time for dries, but no one coming in just yet.
Yeah, so that was a great move there from Kia, and I guess it did kind of display how that new layout is working for overtakes as Hudman just sweeps through on Phoenix, but Phoenix goes for a switchback, and he now has the inside for turn 2, and who will be on the traction better? I think, yeah, Phoenix has got it for the moment, but Hudman's still trying to stick his nose up the inside. This is a hard corner to go side by side up, but they're both going to do it, and they're going to keep battling on as DXman moves past Sparks up into P2. So that it's now no longer a Red Bull 1-2, as now Phoenix has been forced to the outside. Great defense from Hudman, and there we go. Hudman is now back through, and a great bit of defense and offense from Hudman there.
Yeah, so they're, as you can see, making their way through the field here. Key's up into 7th now, so he's got some serious pace. Sparks has been struggling so far. DXman, I'm not sure if it's just DXman being quick or Sparks being slow, but either way, Zonix has now pulled a 2-second gap to second here, and Milan's down in 16th, and he's got a lot of work to do. Will we see anyone come in this lap? Will be the big question.
I don't think it's dry enough yet, J-Man, if I'm honest.
There's a Haas that's stopped. It's Lolai scored there. So, unfortunate moment for him there. And look, there's a massive gap that's formed between the top 6 and Kerr in 7th there. I'm sure Kerr's going to reel that one in quickly, but interesting to see what's going to happen here. Zonix setting fastest lap after fastest lap at the moment. He's got some great pace.
Yeah, I guess if there were one person or two people to be gambling, I think if you're in Milan or Lolai Scored's position, this is where you gamble for dries. But Call Me Keg has gambled first as they round into the pits. Oh, Churchy with the early pit stop, and one of the Alpines has come in too. As there we go, the medium tyres, they can't make the end, so interesting, but maybe they're just going for some more grip as it still dries up. Maybe the hards just wouldn't have gotten up to temperature, maybe.
Yeah, so we keep an eye on that pace as a yellow towards the middle sector here. Doesn't look like there's too many problems, but we'll have a look at this front runner battle at the moment. There's about 4 cars involved in this one. Goes from McNuggies, who's actually gotten Sparks. So there's an interesting one for you. Well done, McNuggies. He's got some good pace here in Singapore as well. But yeah, Sparks being swallowed up here by a few drivers.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling. Maybe running a bit lower downforce, but as these dry tyres begin to come on all the cars up and down the grid, he should phase back into this race. But definitely interesting to see him struggling on those inters. You normally don't see Spark struggle that much across the conditions.
Yeah, track's looking quite dry now as well, so I think we'll see quite a few come in this lap. Call me Keegan Churchy up, putting in incredible lap times at the moment. They're dropping time to their fellow intermediate or their intermediate runners. And in comes Zonix, I believe that was. Sparks, it's going to be a double stack at Red Bull, is it? Yes, it is. So that's an interesting time to come in for Sparks. Didn't really plan that one too well. He's going to get held up here. Oh, hang on. Maybe they planned it perfectly. There you go. Sparks. It's going to be tight with Kia here because of that double stack. I think he's going to get through. Yeah, he is. Just. But yeah, that is very fortunate for the Red Bulls there. And Sandy's retired. What's happened to Spicy
it's very
there?
fortunate. It's very... What is going on?
So, yeah, DXman, he has to adhere to the delta here, so it's going to be tight. I think Zonix might have got him, though. He's got 6 seconds to Sparks, so he's still a fair way behind. It'll be interesting to see where everyone comes out here.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I think maybe DXman might jump in. Maybe if you go to the leader gap on the interval.
We'll have a look here. It's 26. Yeah, DXman's going to jump Zonix here, maybe, and maybe McNuggies might as well.
Yeah, this will be close.
And in the meantime, Hudman, the only driver to take a gamble on the hard tyres, so he's thinking about the long game, but it's going to be a task to take them all the way from where we currently are.
Yeah, I think maybe medium soft was what these medium runners are thinking, but the hards definitely could make it. But I guess also the medium runners could be predicting safety cars, which is quite a high chance that you'll win that bet.
Yep, so DXman now making his way. No doubt about where he's coming this lap. Straight into the pit lane. Churchy pitting yet again. I think he's just managed to stay on the lead lap, though, fortunately for him. So in we come. And, oh no.
Oh no, that's a bug. That's a bug. When you come into the pit lane under safety car, sometimes it gives you a delta bug and you get an instant drive through.
It's a huge shame for him there, so unlucky for McNuggies as the leaders filter through the pits. Deadheat comes in as well. Zonix is going to get beaten here by DXman, I believe. Actually, it's going to be a bit tighter than we expected. McNuggies might get him as well, but McNuggies has a drive through. Let's see, Zonix comes around and he sees McNuggies and DXman in front of him, so that's a shame for him. And Sparks has Kizzy, who's gotten past him as well.
Yeah, so now Kia into the top 6, so good for him, but the safety car also closes a couple of drivers who look almost down and out. So Milan is now closed back up and just has to get some overtakes done. Dead heat after his incident with Spicy, back close to the field in P10. And obviously then you have your usuals, Phoenix and Hudman and that, who will be closer to the leaders than they were before, and they'll just be happy that they're going to be in the fight.
Yeah, Frosty loves a long stint on the hard tyres, so not surprised in the slightest to see him pick the hards here. But we'll see how that unfolds. Most of the drivers have opted for the mediums, a little bit more pace off the restart. So it's going to be interesting to see how Frosty and Hudman defend their positions, because there might be a few quick drivers coming behind.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very interesting restart. And now we get to see the dry pace of these drivers.
Yep. And this is where Sparks may be coming to shine in this race. He's struggled a bit in the wet. He's in 5th, the championship leader. Still going to be making gains on Hudman, though, who's currently in 8th. But he just needs to avoid incident for the next 20-odd laps, which is a lot easier said than done in Div 2, especially at Singapore.
Yeah, for sure.
So get probably one more lap of safety car here. And McNuggies almost tried to make an overtake on DXman there. Got a little bit close. I thought he might have been pitting. But Taipan TJ, the only driver on the softs in that McLaren as well. So could he potentially gain a couple places before those tyres go off? We will see.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting restart. And just tell me if there's fan noises on my mic. I had to turn fan on. It's too bloody hot.
We're all struggling with the heat out here. It'd be about 30 degrees in Singapore at the moment as well, so it'd be very hot and humid over there. So I'm sure the drivers wouldn't be having the easiest time either.
Yeah, pretty much the same exact temperature as it is for me right now. So they're cooking in the cockpits, and I'm cooking on my couch.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here. Will Churchy and Spicy catch up to this safety car? I'm sure they might. But McNuggies with that drive through, big shame for him. He's going to join Milan towards the bottom of the field. He had a great start to this race. And yeah, it's just the luck in this game could just hit you like an absolute train sometimes.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes, but obviously everybody who has bad luck normally ends up getting some good luck eventually, and I think we'll see a couple of these drivers that have had a bit of a poor start to the season, especially after now we're at the halfway mark. I think a couple of people will try to turn their seasons around, whether it be with new beginnings at a new team, or if we just see them just have a charge back because of we have a break next week. So there's going to be quite an extended break too.
So no safety car in this lap, I don't think. Unless Churchy by some miracle can get it. I don't think he might. No, he's not going to. It's too late now. We'll have one more lap. And there'll be 20 laps to go when we do get back underway in Singapore. And we're going to be running under dry for the first time.
Yeah, so that will be interesting. But for the moment, we have one more lap of the snooze fest.
Yep.
So
this is very typical of Singapore, just watching a safety car drive around the track. I wish you could go on board with the safety car. That would be pretty fun.
When you're in broadcast and you're with the leader, sometimes it'll go to the back of the safety car, but annoyingly enough, you can't just force it onto the safety car. It'd be cool if there was a feature where one of the spectators could drive the safety car.
That would be interesting. And
commentator safety car cam.
Have we got a surprise musical act, Lindsay?
Oh, yeah, sure. All right, hold on. Here's the ukulele. Alrighty. Let's see. I'll try play two things. I'll start with the easy one first.
This is really top tier ORL right here.
Yeah. And then...
The Seven Nation Army, I love it.
Alright, that's all the music you're getting.
That's really sure to hype the drivers up here before the restart.
Yeah. You have to pay for any more time.
Yeah, that's your free trial of Lindsay if you go subscribe to him on I don't know what some music platform, Spotify. Anyway,
We've had our fun. I think we'll get back to more serious action now as the safety car is in now, and DXman has control of the restart and, most importantly, control of the speed up and down the field, as there's no more under the tunnel section, so we're going to get straight here to green flag action as we round the final corner now, and McNuggies dives into the pit lane, and now DXman is underway here in Singapore for the safety car restart. Will he have any pressure behind him? I don't think he will. Here we go. Zonik might go for a move into turn 1. No, he won't. They're staying pretty single file. There we go. Frosty pulls out into turn 1. Nearly goes for a move on Kia further down the back. I can't tell if there's anything much going on, but I can see a bit of position changing towards the midfield there. And will Frosty be put under any pressure from Hudman here as we head onto the straight? Hudman does have the pace advantage, I would imagine, as here we go, Kizzy on the Red Bull of Sparks as they head into turn 5. Can't quite get any sort of move done. He has a bit of a wobble there, and nothing quite going on at the front. Just a little bit of jockeying for position, but no moves being made. I saw Hudman there nearly go for a move on Frosty, but didn't pull anything off quite yet. Type N TJ on the sauce is still struggling, and Milan is all over the back of him. So the move for the point might be on as we enter the straight. And this will be interesting. It's all about the run through the hairpin. Milan all over the back of Taipan now, and goes for a dive bomb at the hairpin. Gets the move done early. What a move!
nice and smooth by Milan there. A bit of argy-bargy, but he finds his way through into the points positions. He's on a bit of a mission here to fight his way back into this race. He had that pole position. We know he's got some serious good speed here. As Sparks
it was Hudman goes for a move on Frosty.
Nicely
Just
done.
saw that in the back of the frame, and he gets the move done up into the top 6. And Kia is the next one in his warpath.
Yeah, so Hudman now, he's gotten past his fellow hard tyre runner Frosty there, so he'll be pretty happy to see him in his mirrors. Kizzy's still trying to hang on to the back of Sparks after he got past him on the restart there, so as Churchy picks up a penalty, I think that's his second exceeded track limits penalty for the race here. As now down the straight, Kizzy trying to gain on Sparks. It's not going to quite be enough here. As we look back down the field, and they've all started to settle back into their rhythm here. And hang on a minute! Oh wow, big contact there between Lolo Scored and Call Me Keg there, but well, somehow got out of it unscathed.
Yeah, that was, you just cut to him there, and Lola scored at a massive snap, and we'll see how that battle can keep going, but Call Me Keg has to close up the ground first. Did any of them get damage from that contact?
Didn't look like it, so they've done pretty well there, but I think that was Lola Scored's fault, maybe. We'll have to have a look at
As quickly, massive moment there. Phoenix is pretty close behind Frosty. Don't think any moves are being made, though. I think he made a mistake in the braking zone.
On dead heat, so we'll see what he can do. He's right on the back of him. Could he potentially make a move down the main straight? DXman's pulled a gap to Zonix here. So DXman has got some great pace as well. As we can see, Deadheat got a great exit out of the final corner there, which is going to hinder Milan's chances. He's absolutely burnt his battery as well in his attempt to try and make his way through the field as Milan. He's putting some good pressure on Deadheat. You can see how quick he is through the corners, and now pulls to the inside, now to the outside, and not quite just yet. The DRS isn't open. Now it is open. He's got the slipstream and the DRS. Deadheat has it as well, so he might not have enough in the toolbox here. Milan, he broke early and just was able to hang on to that position as Deadheat. Good defence from him at this stage.
So the Singapore DRS train will take effect soon enough, if not already. But can we just talk about how stacked this top 10 is, J-Man?
Yeah.
Everyone is here today. Normally there's a couple of missing here and there every week, just one of the two big names out on attendance. But we've just got everyone in one big top 10 train here. Just the peak of Div 2.
It's great to see. The only one missing from that train is McNuggies there, but I'm sure he'll find his way back soon enough. But yeah, this is great to see. We should see some fantastic racing action between the front running drivers here. They all have fantastic pace. They're all have some great racing as well. Kizzy is getting close to Spark, so he's not letting him run away with it here. And Zonix is also gapping his teammates. That answers the question about the Red Bull pace battle here. And I think Zonix has got him covered. Can Kizzy make a move? Not quite yet. He'll have to wait for the next DRS opportunity.
Yeah, these Red Bulls will begin to fight quite hard, but Kizzy looking behind them. Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting fight because Sparks will have to pick up the pace soon.
Yeah, Kizzy is going to be a little bit too far back on this occasion. Commie Keg picks up a penalty, and you need to be really right on the back to make a move. And Milan was having a look down that inside and just looked like he grazed Dead Heat there. No damage done. Squeezed by Dead Heat was Milan there. He's lucky to get away with that. He's just tapped him a couple times, has Milan. And they are both losing time to the cars in front from this battle, and it's getting very feisty between these two. And it's going to be very difficult for Milan to make his way through the field when he's got so many good drivers in front of him. He made a move at the hairpin a couple laps ago. Is he going to try and go for it again? No, not on this occasion. Just stays behind. But it's it's great battling going on. Oh, hang on. Great exit out of the corner from Milan. He's been good at that corner. Now moves alongside. He's on the outside of Dead Heat. Dead Heat breaks late. And great defense again there from Dead Heat. And he's doing a incredible job. And now with another straight coming up, Milan still not enough. But yeah, well done Dead Heat here.
Dead Heat clearly thinks he's in one of the Mercedes buses. The busway's goddamn Mercedes bus. That's what he thinks he's in. He's making his car as wide as it.
Yeah, they also make garbage trucks, so he might be in one of those as well. They're pretty big and wide.
The garbage truck was the W13, not the W14. You're getting them mixed up.
Yeah, my bad. You make a fair point. Milan, it's about 2.5 tenths in the meantime. He's the closest that anyone's been so far. Has a snap though. Could that cost him a chance of a move here? He will have the DRS open. He's going to be a little bit further back on this occasion, unfortunately for him. Everyone just sort of hanging on to the back of each other. We missed the overtake. Kizzy did get past Sparks. I believe that was down the straight. So well done to him to get back in the podium positions as well.
Yep, so a lot of battling going up and down the field, but Milan will be wanting to bash his head through a concrete wall if he has to spend another lap behind the Mercedes of Dead Heat, and they're just losing so much time to the field. It's just such a big hitting top 8 too that are in front of them that catching up will be a task in alone. So Milan really needs to make short work of Dead Heat here, but right now he's failing to do so. Meanwhile, though, Sparks is close behind Kizzy, and I think this battle will begin to rage on more and more as through the final sector now. Sparks will need to stay close, and maybe he can go for a move into turn 1. He's all over the back of Kizzy now, so can he just stick with it through the final corner with the DRS? He should be able to get a move into turn 1 if he just gets a good exit. Kizzy had a pretty solid run through there, but with the DRS now, Sparks should go for a move. No, he stays behind and lives to fight for another day. I think he's going to go for a move down the long straight after turn 3. No. Kizzy ran wide there, and Sparks gets a switchback and moves up into P3, and that'll allow Kizzy to have the DRS. So maybe that was a strategical moment, but I don't think it would have been.
On there, maybe. Kizzy going to be a little bit too far back, though, so yeah, that was a bit of a mistake by him. Just ran off the track, and he's let Sparks through back into third there, so bit of work to do. Kizzy back to the position he was a couple laps ago. Milan has made an error somewhere because he is now a second and a half behind Dead Heat. So that's going to be add to his frustrations even more as Dead Heat's nearly caught back up to this DRS train as well. So he's done well to recover that nicely, but we'll look back up to Kizzy, and Kia's now starting to join the back of this fight as well. Don't count him out for a podium either.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of guys we need to not count out. I think this whole top 8 is still in the chance for that podium, but just quickly, DXman and Zonix are in a land of their own, especially DXman.
Yep.
He's 2.6 out in front, and he just looks so comfortable. He just never falters when he's in the lead. He's as cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, it's a shame he hasn't had more performances like this season because we know that he has the ability to do them. But yeah, if it's better late than never for Dxmond, and could be making waves back in the championship battle if he gets this comfortable win today. But it'll be a lot of people will be relying on Sparks losing places here, so I think most of the grid will be barracking for Kizzy in this battle. But cool, very calm as well in that Red Bull.
Yeah, and I think Sparks clearly lacking.
Oh,
Ooh, was that a safety car? It
safety
is a
car.
safety car.
Okay,
So, as we were talking about DXman having a 2.7-second lead, it's all going to fall away from him now.
here comes some pit stops as well. The hard tyre runners will be interesting to see what they do. Will they stay out and inherit the lead of the race, or will they come in for some medium tyres?
Everyone who has a fresh set of mediums should come in for mediums. And I think because of the rain, everybody should have 2 sets of mediums.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should just come in mediums till the end.
Shame Milan just pitted as well, so that's terrible timing for him. So unfortunately, he's not going to be gaining too many places out of this. But could the Red Bull, if they do decide to double stack, that could hurt Sparks again here potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. The Red Bulls. I mean, they have a 4-second gap to each other. That you should be able to get in and get a pit stop done and then get back in. I don't think it'll hurt him too much. The gap was a lot smaller last time, and the double stacking on this game isn't too bad as yet. DXman does come in, and I think we'll see the whole grid come in if they're thinking right.
Yeah, the real question is what will Hudman do? And Frosty, now they come in, they're going to come in for the mediums as well. I believe most of the field will go onto
So let's just
mediums.
check on this Red Bull double
Yeah, the
stack.
Red Bull double stack. Is he going to be held up? He's going to be held up a little bit. Oh, gee, it's not great. How's the pit stop? It's all right. What about Kizzy, though? He gets him. Does he get him? He does.
Oh,
Kizzy has got him as a
so
result of that double
close.
stack. And yep, that is very interesting. Absolute mayhem in the pits right now. And as that top 9 right now is all on even rubber. And that is going to be great to watch in these final 10 laps.
This is going to be closer than the Tier 2 Jetta sprint race. And that came down to the final corner.
And yeah, Milan's just taking that top 10 spot back as well. So no one's really, apart from Kizzy getting Sparks in the pits, no real position changes as a result of that safety car. This top 10 is as solid as a rock, Lindsay, at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see anybody in that top 10 falter. It's just like, it's so good to see everyone is here and everyone is fighting for that win. And with, 22 laps to, 12 laps to go. I don't know where I got 22 from. This is going to be a mini sprint race.
Yeah, and yeah, so DXman, this is going to be Zonix's chance to launch an assault on DXman here if he's able to get the overtake done. We saw the pace of DXman before. Zonix, the 2 front runners at the moment clearly have the best pace in the field at the moment. Maybe a couple drivers further down the grid haven't been able to unleash their pace, thinking that the likes of Kia, who's shown some good speed as well. So if they can bring themselves back into it, it's all going to be down to who can keep it clean, consistent, and calm during those last 10 to 12 laps here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think anybody inside that top 10, 11 range has any sort of chance, and it's going to be all about keeping your nose clean, as you said, just keeping it cool, staying calm and collected, and I think Zonix at times in prior seasons has shown a bit of a lack of ability to do that, but I think this season he's shown he has quite large amounts of patience, so we got to see how he can try stay with DXman without potentially getting into an incident, but it would be interesting to see what would happen if they do fight. And I think Kia versus Sparks, the two start of season rivals. Kia obviously at the start of the season was the one leading the championship with Sparks on the chase, and now it's the complete opposite. So let's see how they can fight on this restart, and Hudman, the up and coming latecomer in P2 in the championship, will be just sitting back, playing patient, and trying to snatch whatever sort of position he can. Will we even see another masterclass from him where he can come from nowhere and win this race, like in Monza?
Yeah, golden goose behaviour from Hudman Scott as of recent, but
Well, the golden goose is always in the Williams as well. So first it was I'm a noob, then it was Vipermon. Now will we see Hudman?
yeah. So Hudman in 6th at this stage. Can't count him out for something special either. So I hope to see it. Unfortunately, Spice is going to hold this safety car up by another lap, I think, as he pits
That
to
would
serve his
be...
penalty.
Yeah, if the old Sector 3 was still there, the safety car used to go super slow through there, but there isn't anymore, so Spicy won't be able to catch up in time, which is disappointing. But hopefully, I honestly, even though it would hurt Spicy's race, I'd like to see the safety car come in this lap.
Yeah, can't wait to get this action underway. McNuggy's interestingly on the hard tyres, so we'll see how that works out for him. He's in 14th at the moment. He's going to have to try something different, but I'm not sure if that is going to work out for him too well.
I was going to offer up me bringing out the full-size guitar, but then I also don't want to get covered in dust, so... Because the guitar case is very dusty, so... Maybe later if there's one more safety car.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting here. DXman under a little bit of pressure now. I think he's going to be feeling relatively comfortable at the moment, given the pace he's shown so far.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, obviously, DXman, as I said, he's normally cool as a cucumber in these sorts of situations, so will he be able to keep cool? I would say yes, but obviously, even world champions such as yourself, J-Man, can crack under the pressure in situations like this.
I don't remember ever cracking under any pressure, to be honest.
Oh, you don't.
No, can't recall, but yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about the championship standings now. Dexman goes on to win this race. He'll be up in 5th place at the moment in the standings. He's currently in 8th. But it'd be more interesting for the championship if Sonics brings it home, because he will close that gap. He's currently in 4th position. He'll go up to 3rd, depending on how Kizzy goes here. But yeah, either way, it's going to be interesting, and they're going to make good gains on Sparks here today as well.
Yeah, I think this race is pretty important for the championship. Also pretty important for the constructors, because obviously with lineups that will change, this could be the last race where the constructors is going at the trajectory that it is right now.
Yeah, well, Red Bull comfortably leading that one, and if they do make no change to the lineup, I think that's going to be a championship for them confirmed relatively soon. But yeah, the Alfa Romeo Ferrari battle, 2nd and 3rd, is probably the main one to look out for. And if we're looking at the moment at Ferrari, obviously P1, P8, Alfa Romeo P5, P11. So they've got a bit of work to do. Your team, Lindsay.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll have we'll get there.
Yeah, anyway, safety car in this lap.
DXman already bolted away. He's got a comfortable gap to P3, but Zonic did react quite well and is right there. Further down the field, Hudman looking to go for a move into turn 1. Bates and switches, and now the Mercedes of Dead Heat having a bit of a fight with Churchy. Kia also putting the pressure onto the back of Sparks, so this could be an interesting battle as they head through turn 4 And now the run into turn 5. So Zonix all over the back of DXman now in the slipstream. Will he go for a move? This could be crucial for his race. He did think about it. DXman defending well though. Further down the back though, Hudman gets past Kia, moves up into P5. And there's going to be some fighting going on further down. But I think the fight to stay with is this little top 6 down to P12 sort of area. There's a lot of fighting going on, and Kia will want to put the pressure back onto Hudman, but there's not a spot to do it until we enter this next straight. So Kia needs to stay with him when they enter through this hairpin. If he can get a good exit, he might be able to get back up into P5. Zonix is in the slipstream of DXman right now as Kia goes for a hairpin dive bomb, much like Milan, his teammate, did earlier on in the race. Kia, though, can't quite pull it off. This is where the new layout might be able to come into it now. A little bit of a slipstream as they head down into the little right-hander and in Sector 3. Will Kia be able to go for it? No, I think he does stay behind. Milan gets a 3-second time penalty, so that is unfortunate for him. Sparks very close behind Kia at the moment for P3.
Yeah, good race start for Hudman, and now he can chase after his championship rival in Sparks. If he gets past him, that could be big for a result here today. They're 4th and 5th at the moment. Hudman's got about a second to gain. He'd want to get into that DRS before it opens at the end of next lap. And as you can see, Zonix and DXman still in a field of their own. They're gapping Kizzy at this stage. Frosty getting close to Kia. Look at the speed he's got down the straight. Frosty must be running some serious straight line speed there. And goes down the inside. And Kia did not give him a lot of respect there. I think Frosty deserved a bit more space than what he was given. He got bumped a little bit. Thankfully, no damage done there for the Haas as we move back towards the top. Zonix just 3/10 and closing to DXman. So this is the attack I was talking about from Zonix. Can he take the lead off the Ferrari here down this back straight? And it's all going to be about the exit of this corner. But DXman looked more than comfortable through there. And he's starting to pull away. But we'll see what happens when the DRS opens. Hudman gaining massively on Sparks. He must have had a poor corner. And oh my goodness, that was a lot of lag. And Sparks has actually lagged out of the session. So that's why, and that is going to cost him 4th place. So that could be huge implications for the championship there if Sparks can't find his way back into the race here.
I think you got to get him an invite. Obviously, I can't.
I'll do that very quickly. Sparks. There we go. Yep, as we go back to the race here, DRS enabled. Zonix just hanging on by. Need it down this straight if he wants to make any gains. And has he just fallen out of that second gap? I think he might have. We'll see if the rear wing opens here. It does not. So he's out of that DRS range. Kia has the DRS on Hudman, but no gains yet. And Sparks now down in 8th, which is going to hurt him. And yeah, it's not great. Hopefully he can get back in as soon as possible.
Yeah, so he will be crying in the cockpit.
Yep.
Because of his disconnect. He will be quite upset though. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It does hurt Red Bull in the constructors, but I mean, does it really hurt them at the end of the day?
Yeah, well, Sparks, thankfully, is able to join back, and he's got a bit of a gap to Milan there, so I don't think he's going to fall too far below his current position, which is 8th. So he's going to have some work to do if he wants to get a few more points in this race, as Phoenix and Frosty having a very close battle here. Frosty is coming up alongside him. Is he going to make a move down the inside? And just a little bit of contact there. And McNuggies is out of the race after an incident with Taipan TJ there. Is there going to be any safety car as a result? I don't believe so, thankfully. Zonix is now fallen out of that DRS. So DXman might be able to just run away with this one.
Yeah, so DXman's just, as you said, will probably run away. So now the battle focus is down for this P4 fight.
Oh, no! What's happened to Sparks?
No.
Is he retired on track there?
Yeah, it's the glitch from when it doesn't let you reconnect. So when you go to take control of your car after you disconnect, it doesn't let you. And then when you go to leave, your AI just retires you.
Yeah, well, that's no fault of his own there for Sparks. He's been you called that the equivalent of like an engine failure there, just absolutely out of his hands. But it's a the game that's pretty much just screwed him over there. As Kia getting really close to Hudman in the meantime, can't dwell on it for too long. As he tries to stick it around the outside, he can't. But as a result of this, Hudman is now going to close the gap in his current position down to 8 points to Sparks. So it is going to be really heating up here, this championship battle. And Hudman still defending strongly. Look at the gap that Kizzy's pulled to these two. That's how much time the battling's taken out of this. Frosty battling Phoenix as well. DRS open for Kia. And Hudman's nearly out of battery. Just stays behind him for the moment, but it looks like this overtake could be inevitable.
It is inevitable, but it seems like Hudman is making his car as wide as a double-decker bus, so he just can't get past.
Is that Phoenix? Phoenix has had a spin.
Oh, no!
And has he lost his wing? I think he might have. He's lost an end plate. That's a big shame for him there. Will he have to come into the pits to get that fixed? He's down in 8th now, and Hudman and Kia exchanging places. Kia hits him. I think his wing's still intact though, and he's still trying to get past Hudman here. And yeah, wing still intact fortunately, so I can continue pushing after him. But yeah, this is very interesting stuff between these two.
Yeah, this battle will continue to rage on as Kia trying to go up the inside down
Safety
the
car.
hairpin. There's a safety car as he got alongside. No.
He didn't get the overtake.
Oh.
He was in front of him for a millisecond, but it wasn't enough.
For God's sake.
Will we see any gambling on the soft tyres here? I'm thinking
Time
Frosty has
to
a
go to
12-second
softs.
gap to dead heat here, so he would only lose one position by going on to soft tyres. Is anyone going to make that gamble, I wonder?
I think the whole, I would pit if I was in, say, Frosty's position, because he's not he will lose the place, but only one place. And I've got to say, Milan has had the worst strategy calls of all time today. He pitted a lap ago.
Yep. He's been very unlucky today. As Milan, he's also picked up a couple of penalties, but we've got 3 drivers in the pits, Hudman, Kia, and Frosty. Dead Heat in the pits too. Phoenix in the pits as well. So I don't think they're going to lose any places here, the soft tyre runners, and that is going to put some unbelievable pressure on DXman, Zonix, and Kizzy. That has not worked out for them at all.
Yeah,
Hudman could win this race again.
When it comes to not pitting while leading under a safety car, I'm a bit of an expert, and I think DXman has flunked this one.
Yeah, well, I can't believe this could happen again. Has Hudman just absolutely pinched the race on strategy here? If he does manage to get this win, I'll be stunned. But also means he'd take the lead of the championship.
He's the golden goose, yeah. He has the best. I think he has more lucky stars than I'm a noob.
Yeah, well, you can see he's trying to go quickly because that gap was about 25 seconds. I think he's pulled it within a pit stop range now, so I think he can rest a bit easy. So none of the top 3 are going to be able to pit now. So they're just going to have to stick this one out and hope that Hudman, Kia, and Frosty somehow don't find a way through. There's 4 laps to go. I think there'll be 3 when the safety car comes in.
Imagine the scenes if Kia can finally get past Hudman.
Yeah, well, they've been battling for ages. I think Kia's the only person who could stop Hudman from getting this win here.
I mean, Kizzy has some decent pace, so...
Yeah, 8-lap old mediums against brand new soft tyres, though.
Oh, wait, yeah, I thought Kizzy pitted. No, I'm stupid. Okay, no, never mind. Yeah, Kia's the only one who'll be able to stop him, I think. Milan, though, obviously he does have a penalty, but he's in P7, so...
Yeah, well, I think he's got a couple penalties. Just 3 seconds, there you go. So, not over for him yet. but DXman is going to be absolutely praying that that Zonix and Kizzy can at least put up some sort of defense against Hudman here. It's going to get close towards the end of this one.
Yeah, this is going to be such an interesting sprint to the end. It is going to be a 3-lap race to the end. So literally, you could load into a social lobby. I believe Cloxon is hosting one tonight, and it'll be the exact same as this ending to this race.
Yeah, so it's going to be an all flat-out sprint to the finish. In the meantime, Taipan TJ has just snuck up into the points, and I think he might get a points finish here as well.
Yeah, this is going to be... Is this Taipan TJ's debut? I swear I've never seen him race before.
He's done a couple of races as a reserve for multiple teams, but I'm not sure if he's gotten a point. He might have. I think he raced in Imola earlier this season. But will the safety car come in the end of this lap? Will it care about Spicy, who's 40 seconds behind here?
Yeah, I think the way the game's code works is that it has to come in.
Yeah, it does make it come in towards the end of the race a lot sooner. So we'll see what the game decides to give us here. The medium to high runners will be begging, please no safety car in this lap. And they might be granted their wish here.
Yep, so this is now where it gets interesting. This is safety car's crunch time. Will the safety car come in, or will it give us only 2 laps of racing?
No, it's not going to come in. They would have called it by now,
surely. It's going to give us 2 laps of racing. It's going to give us 2 laps of racing. DXman might still be able to win this just because there's not enough time.
Well, it's going to make it extremely interesting now. Hudman, there's going to be some urgency about him. Are we going to see a bit of a questionable defending here? I would not be surprised in the slightest. But hopefully we avoid incident here, which I think is a very hopeful wish there.
Kia and Hudman can't go fighting each other either, because if they go fighting each other, that's their chances out the window.
Oh my god!
Kia's just hit Hudman.
Did he lose a... Oh, he lost an end plate.
Oh.
That's race over for Kia now. And you can see he's slowing down, he knows. He still might have more pace than the medium runners, but he's definitely not going to be able to challenge Hudman. Yeah, but that sort of takes the spice out of it a little bit here.
Oh, damn it.
So, yep, Kia no end plate. Now Frosty is all of a sudden on for maybe a podium finish himself. But he's going to have to get past Kia. I presume he's not going to come into the pits at this late stage.
Yeah, this is going to be... Can Kia even hold on to his current position? With damage, it's going to be so difficult.
In Singapore especially, he's going to struggle. But yeah, it's going to be in this lap.
If this was Monza, it wouldn't be a big problem. But it's just like the third highest downforce track on the calendar.
Yep, so this could be turned into a bad day for Alfa Romeo here. Dex, but it could still be a bad day or a great day for him, depending on Hudman. Has Hudman pulled off another miracle win out of nowhere? It's all in the hands of DXman now. Safety car will be in this lap, and he's going to be responsible. It's mediums versus softs here. Hudman is going to be flying along, but on this track, it could be difficult to make up those 3 positions here. And DXman really slowing down the field here, letting that safety car go as far away as possible before he launches away. It's going to be all eyes on Hudman.
We saw him bolt early last time. He bolted around here, and I think he bolted early again. So here we go for a 2-lap sprint race to the end. The X-Men has taken it away now, and this is truly crunch time for Hudman, and maybe even for Kia. Let's see how the safety car can get unravelled now as we head into turn 1. Hudman didn't go for any sort of moves there. Kia already under a bit of pressure. The X-Men leading the way. Hudman tries to go right around the outside. He now gets underneath Kizzy. The grip difference on those softs is so large, but Hudman is going to have to wait until turn 4.
Oh my goodness.
And no, never mind, he's through. There was a bit of lag, and that moves Hudman up into P3, and that makes his job even easier, as he's going to have to burn all of the battery if he wants to close up to Zonix now. Will he go for a move? No, he's nowhere close enough. As meanwhile, Kia is getting pressure on, and they make a bit of
Frosty's
contact. Milan
through,
might get
is he?
involved now. As here we go, they're going to go side by side through the hairpin. Frosty sails right around the outside as now Milan should get up the inside of his teammate too. So that moves Milan off into P6 before his penalty gets applied. Hudman is not close enough to go for a move on Zonic, and all the while, DXman is getting away. So he's going to have to pull out something special here. Hudman, as they head into the hairpin, will he go for a hairpin dive bomb? No, but he's going to go right around the outside. He goes for a switchback now, and he gets the move done on Zonic. Well, he hasn't quite gotten it done yet, but they're going to go wheel to wheel. And with the extra grip, I imagine it's not going to be much of a challenge for Hudman. Zonix is going to defend for his life. Hudman goes for a switchback now, and he's probably going to get the move done. Zonix pushes him all the way to the right-hand side of the track. As here we go, Hudman goes up the inside, should get the move done. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Move done, and now it's a one-lap chase for Hudman to try and win this Grand Prix.
Yeah, Zonix had a massive snap. Look at the huge battle. There's like 6 cars involved in this. Kizzy is holding everyone up. Frosty trying to go around the outside at a massive moment. He's been bumped by Kia. Milan's up into 5th place now. Dead Heat up into 6th. Kizzy somehow hangs on to that 4th. Can Hudman rake in 1.3 seconds in a lap? It's going to be so close towards the end of this race. It is absolute frenzy here. Everyone's still jockeying for position. Milan trying to chase down Kizzy. That 3-second penalty is going to hurt him though. Frosty, I'm not sure what's happened to him. He's down in 9th place. He's gaining constantly. He's going to gain massively through the next few corners, but I think DX might have enough. Zonix also has a penalty, so he's going to lose a place to Kizzy as well, so Kizzy could still yet be on the podium. Hudman's brought it down to 8 tenths now, almost into 7 tenths. I'm not sure it's going to be enough here, but he's still desperate here. DXman's just got to hold it together. He is gaining massively now, Hudman. He's got no battery left. He's burnt it all. Dexman's also burnt all his battery. Milan gaining on Kizzy still as well. But here we go. Look how close he's gotten. It's down to 4 tenths. Can Hudman make a move for the lead? Is he going to have a big dive here? He's got one more chance after this to make an overtake for the win. Is Hudman going to steal another one? A little bit sliding on the exit for DXman. And it's going to be wheel to wheel here if he comes alongside him. Hudman towards the outside he goes. DXman gives you the space. Down the inside he goes. DXman goes off the track. Hudman, has he stolen the victory here? He's in front. Hudman's just taken it at the last moment. Hudman is going to win in Singapore. What a finish. DXman comes home in second. A great race. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be a win. Kizzy finishes on the podium. Dead Heat 4th. Zonix 5th. The Alphas in 6th and 7th, followed by Frosty, Taipan, and Phoenix. Hudman takes it at the last gasp again.
I have no words for that finish there. Hudman taking the inside was so crucial. DXman tried to force him around the outside, and Hudman said no thank you, and just centered on the inside. Those softs were clinging for dear life, and he manages to bring it home. But what a finish that was, and Kizzy somehow holds onto the podium, and Dead Heat got P4.
What a late comeback by Dead Heat, but this does mean Hudman he's stolen another one, and he's now in the lead of the championship against all odds. But yeah, Dead Heat drive for the day, that's probably fair enough. I think I'd give it to Hudman after that performance, but you got to feel at least a little bit for Zonix and DXman there. They drove a faultless race, but they unfortunately didn't get the win.
Yeah, super unfortunate, as DXman doesn't seem too happy at Hudson, so maybe a bit of a report coming in later there that could change what we've just seen, but for the moment, that is an absolutely brilliant race there for Hudman. And you've just got to say take a bow to
Yep.
him. Just what a result. But Hudman gets P1. Jackman does get fast lap with a 32.1 and comes home P2. Kizzy P3. Dead Heat. Great result. P4. P5 goes to Zonix, the man who looked like he was going to get a top 2 at some point. Kia gets P6. Milan P7. Frosty P8. Taipan TJ gets some points for McLaren P9. Phoenix gets P10, so not the ideal result. PS Bomber gets P11, Churchy P12, Spicy P13. Lola Scored gets P14, but is a DNF, so the rest backwards are DNFs.
Yep. And unfortunately, not going to be able to do the interviews today because of the PlayStation audio bug. But I'm sure Hudman would be pretty ecstatic about that one. And yeah, it's been a thrilling race today, ups and downs. It's the epitome of a tier 2 race, and yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it. Another great finish, and yeah, thanks for coming along today, Lindsay.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep, that'll round it up. We'll have tier 1 in exactly an hour from now. So yeah, that went for an hour and a half. That sounds about right. It's nice and long for us, but yeah, that'll be all for the stream today, and we'll see you later on.